Good evening, Daf Hey Amud Aleph, approximately 16 lines down, Tashema. We're continuing against Rabbi Hiya. Rabbi Hiya mentioned that even in the case of Modeh and Mitzad, where a guy confesses to half alone, the general halacha that the guy confesses, you have to swear in the second half if he admitted to half. However, Rabbi Hiya said that even if Aidim testify in the first 50%, he still swears. So I'm going to bring questions against that. Tashema, the Tanit Avua, the Rav Toriki, the Rabbi Hiya, Kamaita. We have a question from this rabbi against Rabbi Hiya, the following case. In the case where the guy said, "You owe me $100," and the guy says, "I don't owe you anything." The Aidim oto, sheyesh biyado 50 zuz, and Aidim come and say, "No, you owe $50." You might think that you should swear on the rest. And therefore, the pasuk says, "Al kol aveda asher yomar ki hu zeh." Only the time where you swear on modeh b'mitzat is where the guy says, "This is what I owe you." Yani, I only owe you 50%. Al hoda'at piva tama'ayva. Only when the guy confesses, you can make him swear. V'at tama'ayva that edim, and you don't make him swear by edim. Direct contradiction against Rabbi Hiya. The Gemara says, "Are you bringing a braita against Rabbi Hiya?" Rabbi Hiya Tana upalig. Tana hu upalig. Rabbi Hiya the Tana. And he can argue against the Braita. Not a problem. It's not a stira. Gemara says, "V'hakraka amar." 1 second. Okay, fine. He can argue, but if you're bringing a pasuk as proof, he can't argue against God. He can't argue against the Torah. So how can Rabbi Hiya disagree with that? Gemara says, "Hahula modib mitzvah ta'ana." Rabbi Hiya says, no, that pasuk teaches you in general about modeb and mixat. The guy who confesses is also chayav, but not necessarily only that case. Even in the case of edim. And what would be the father of this rabbi who brought this down in the first place, who learned the pasuk? How would he explain what Rabbi Chiya's answer? He would tell you, the pasuk wrote two different words. Wrote this and it, right? Who and zeh. Both these pasukim teach you something else. One of them teaches you that a guy who confesses himself, and the second one makes you swear in a case where edim are mechayev you. So v'idach, what does Rabbi Chiya do with the second word? Right, there's an extra word, quote unquote, in the Torah that's there to be learned out. So what does Rabbi Chiya do if he doesn't learn this? He learns to teach you that first of all, if you admit, if you confess. And the second word to teach you that it must be the type of item that the guy is claiming from you. So, Modeh Mitzvah general is if you owe me, I say you owe me $100, you say 50, I can make you swear. What if the guy says you owe me 100 barrels of wine and he says, no, I owe you 50 barrels of oil? It's a completely different item. Whether or not that's considered Modeh Mitzvah. Did you really agree or confess to the loan, or you confess to a completely different loan? So Rabbi Hiya would say that this pasuk is teaching you that it has to be the same type of item in order to be chayav b'shavua. It can't be something else completely. The idach, what does the Braita hold in that regard? Does he hold that or not? So no, he doesn't hold that. He holds like Rabbi Gamliel. That in the Mishnah we see over there that if the guy claims wheat and the guy admits barley, yani a different item, he's patur from swearing. But Rabbi Gamliel chayav, and Rabbi Gamliel says chayav. So Rabbi Gamliel would argue against Rabbi Chiya, and that Braita would agree with him. Okay, story time. Ahu Ra'aya, there was a shepherd. The Hamasrei lekuyama hevatad sadeh. There was the people of the town would always deliver animals for him to watch every day in front of Aidim. Number one biggest mistake businessmen make: they trust somebody until they don't trust, until they trust him too much, right? So one day they delivered to him without witnesses. He always gave it back, no problem. So they delivered without witnesses, and sure enough, the sofa mother you didn't give me anything, right? The customer that you always make him prepay, and the one time you don't make him prepay, he doesn't pay you back. So witnesses, however, testified and said, no, we saw we saw animals are given to you. The achal tarte minayu. And not only that, but we saw that he ate two of them. He slaughtered and ate two of them. So, Amar Rabbi Zera, im itad Rabbi Chaya kamaita, if you hold like Rabbi Chaya, that if Edim were to confirm that you owe money, not a confession, then you would have Mishtaba Ashra, he has to swear in the rest, because the Edim confirmed some of the animals. Amar Rabbi says, 1 second, you need Rabbi Chaya, v'hagazlanhu. How can you make him swear if you know he's a thief? You know he's for sure a thief. He lied about the animals. He ate the animals for crying out loud. And now you want him to swear? Of course he'll lie. True. We can't trust his swearing, but we can at least allow the plaintiff to swear, the owner of the animals, let them swear instead to claim the money. So the Gemara says, but even if, let's say, you did not have Rabbi Chia, let's say we did not know about Rabbi Chia's concept about the edim making someone able to swear, then we should learn him. We should make him swear from Rabbi Nachman's halacha. The Tanakh Mishnah says, someone says in the chabiadi, and the guy says, I don't know anything. Patur from swearing. Nachman says, mashbeino to shvuat heset. You can make him swear a shvuat heset. A shvuat heset is a shvuat rabbanan. That was a pressure shivua, meaning the guy, you suspect the guy is lying, so you say, okay, swear on it. The Chachamim can make someone swear. That is a pressure for him to confess. So how come over here we could say the same thing? Let him do a shivuat hesed. You don't need Rabbi Chia's hidush. Where it says Rav Nachman takante, true, but the concept of shivuat hesed is a takana, Chachamim's takana that we made up, and therefore, but takanta the katanka lo avina. You can't have back-to-back technical halachot drabanan to make someone swear, right? So since you have number one, he's a pasul swearer, you make the plaintiff swear, but he's not even swearing a real swear, he's also swearing a takana. We can't have two takanot back-to-back, and therefore, we need a b'chiyah to make him chayav in a swearing. Maybe you can't make the shepherd swear for a different reason, because he's his left shepherd. A shepherd is usually a stealer, meaning if the guy has animals and he's letting his animals walk around, you can assume the guy is letting his animals eat from other people's property. When is a shepherd suspected of letting his animals graze elsewhere and therefore he's not allowed to swear? Is when the animals belong to him, because he'll steal for his own gain. But if it's general, when like in this scenario where it's somebody else's shepherd, the shepherd's watching someone else's stuff, you have no reason to believe that the guy's letting these animals eat because he doesn't gain anything. It's not his responsibility to feed them. That's not the case. We can never give animals to a shepherd if you know they're going to steal. The pasuk says, you can't put a stumbling block before the blind guy, meaning you can't put someone in a situation where they're going to fail. So how can we ever give animals to a shepherd? Therefore, because why? The person would not sin if he has no personal gain. Like the situation, you can trust a shepherd that the animals do not belong to you because you can assume that they're not going to steal because the animals don't belong to him. He hasn't gained. He could bill you for the feeding regardless. Why would he take upon a sin of stealing? And therefore, in this situation, this shepherd whose animals do not belong to him would technically be able to swear had it not been for the b'chiyah. Okay. This one, right? The Mishnah said that we had a weird, strange language of the Mishnah that the guy has to swear that I don't own less than half. So the Gemara says, is he swearing that he owns half or does he not own half? Why are we beating around the bush? The Mishnah is saying, each guy is saying, I own a part of this item that I found, and I don't own less than half of it. So okay, so let each guy swear a whole. I own the whole thing, and that's it. Why are you doing this weird thing? We can't let him swear in the whole thing if the guy is not getting the whole thing. They're splitting it. So we don't want him to swear in something he's not getting. The Gemara says, okay, so let him swear half of it's mine. Why? I don't own less than half. If he says I own half, then he's swearing that he owns half, then it looks like he's contradicting himself. Because 2 minutes ago he says it's all mine, and then he's swearing I own half. So it doesn't look good. He's contradicting himself. The Gemara says, okay, but still, if he's saying I swear I don't own less than half, that's also contradicting what he said before, that he said he owned the whole thing. So still a strange way of swearing. The Gemara says, no, the Ammar Kula Shali. In each case, when the guy's swearing, he's saying, I own the whole thing. But according to you, that you don't believe me that the whole thing belongs to me, and therefore you don't allow me to swear on the whole thing, because we don't want people to swear against each other. That's for sure false. Shivua. So therefore, Shivua Shishli Bava and Liba. Therefore, I'm swearing that I own a portion and I own at least half. Okay. So now it says, so now if each guy holds half, Shavua Zulama. Let him split it. Why need a Shavua in the first place? So he said his answer before, Shamar Bechnan, Shavua Zu Takanat Hamim, this is the Takana. We don't want anybody, we don't want people, if people are holding an item, if me and Stanley are holding a Hatzalah sweatshirt and there's no, and you don't have to swear, then what's going to happen? Every other person is going to grab someone else's item and say, this belongs to me. And therefore, and then you have to split it. So therefore we say, make them swear so that people don't do this freely. Okay, we have a problem. If we're choshesh that the person is stealing in general, and that's why we're making him swear, what's stopping him from saying that once we suspect him for money, maybe he'll swear falsely? He's desperate. So how can we trust the swearing? The Gemara says, we don't, no, not a problem. Even though people might try to steal, they won't swear falsely. Not, we could trust their swearing. Gemara says, the if because we were not say that, if we were to not trust people with their swearing, because we don't say that we trust people, we don't trust people on swearing, then how would the Torah in the first place? In the Doraita case of Modeh b'Meisat, the case is, I owe you owe me $100. No, I owe you 50. It's okay, swear. But then if you're making the guy swear because you don't trust him because he's stealing, then how do you trust him to swear? So obviously we're not choshesh. We're saying 1 second. We say, no, that reason over there, we said he's not trying to lie. He's just trying to buy himself time, like Rabban said. So where it says, Teda, and I know for sure that's the case, the person who denies a loan is still able to testify, is still able to be a good aid in general. And a person who is denying a deposit, he's pasul, because we see that a person in a modeh b'miksat case, for example, or in general, the people who are in a loan are trying to probably buy themselves time, therefore they're kasher le'edut and kasher to swear. However, a deposit, like we said all the other days, also a deposit, there's no reason why you don't have his car there, unless you did something wrong with it, and therefore, if you get caught about the item that you're supposed to watch, then you are pasul le'edut. Okay. Okay, let's see the different case. We mentioned, I believe yesterday also, that a person who, all four shomrim, the four watchmen of the Torah, the unpaid watchman, the borrower, the paid watchman, and the renter, in order to be chayav shivua in the Torah, they have to be admitting to part of it and denying part of it. So the Gemara says, let's say the same thing. If you suspect them on the money, how are you letting them swear? So the Gemara says, no, over there also, he's also trying to buy himself time. Because the guy is thinking, I'm going to swear that I don't have it. What am I going to do afterward? I'm going to track down the guy who stole it from me and bring it back. Or if I lost the item, I'm going to go find the lost item and bring it back. So therefore, you could say in that case also, he's trustworthy, not because we don't think he's lying, but rather because he's rationalizing with himself and buying himself time. If that's the case, we just said if you're in the case of a deposit, you're pasul edut because he shouldn't be lying, swearing falsely, lying. Then how come you say pasul edut? You say he's pasul witness. Maybe also maybe he's also trying to buy himself time to find it. The Gemara says, okay, you know what? When do we say that a guy who denies having the item, he's pasul as a witness from now on because he's a liar? In a case where the witness is testified against him saying, this is a bigger step. This is why. In the case where we say the watchman who's watching something is pasul for a pasul for edut afterward, it's not a regular case because regularly he's probably buying himself time. When is he pasul for a testimony? Is when he says, "Oh, I don't have it," and I'll swear on it, and then Edim come and testify that not only did he have it, but he was using it, and/or it was in his house, and he was aware of it. So there's no reason for himself to be buying himself time. He's just a shakran, and therefore he's pasul le'edut. Okay, another question. In the case of a shomer, a watchman would rather pay instead of swearing, we say, you know what, swear that the item is not in your possession. Maybe he has the item and just wants to, he's like, this is a very cool item. I want to keep it and I'll pay it off. So, how do we say that you have to swear? Anyhow, maybe because he wants to steal it, chayav. We should not be able to believe his swearing. So when I says Hachanami Moreb Damar Demek, even he's over there, the guy rationalized and say, I'm gonna swear, and it's not really a problem of me swearing falsely because I'm gonna flus him afterward, I'm gonna pay him afterward, and therefore it's not a problem. Right? People rationalize to great degrees. Make him pasule edut and pasul for shivua based on the following fact that he's oser, he's being over on the one of the aseret that they brought of not being coveting or not being jealous of your friend's property. The fact that he wants to keep it and pay it off shows that he's being all there, and therefore maybe he'll swear falsely as well, and therefore you shouldn't believe his swearing. It says the guy might think and rationalize again by thinking, I'm not really being all there on lo tahmod because technically I'm paying him and therefore it shouldn't be a problem. Okay. According to the Rahman who said that in general, when the guy denies it, he's chayav takana drabanan of shvuat hesed, the pressure shivua. Maybe we shouldn't be able to swear because maybe he'll swear falsely if he's lying about money also. The two, another question, in the case of the manager of the shop, each guy is swearing and taking the $100 from the owner. So someone's lying over there for sure. How come maybe you should say over there also the guy is willing to steal, he's willing to swear falsely. But two, another question. In the guy of in the case of a Shomer Hinam, the guy who's not getting paid, the watchman not getting paid, he's saying he's patur because it was stolen, for example. Yet you make him swear three things. Shivua shelo pashatli b'av. First of all, I was not posher, I wasn't negligent. Shivua shelo shalachti bayad. Another swearing that he didn't steal it, and shivua shenem b'shdin. And third shivua that it's not in his possession. So nima migdu same thing. If you were worried about him stealing it, then maybe you should also be worried about him swearing falsely. So therefore, the Gemara says, because of these bomb questions, we just had a rapid fire, four of them in a row. We have to say that even though people are willing to steal, they're not willing to swear falsely. Abaya says, hold on a second. He says maybe a person who's suspected in cases of money may be suspected in swearing falsely, and therefore he should. He says a completely different concept at all. He says maybe the case of my Mishnah where the guy's holding onto the item. He's holding on to this guy's item because the guy owes him money. And he says, I'm going to swear on it and saying it belongs to me. And it does belong to him because since the guy owes him money, he has a right to his property. And therefore he's swearing on it because it belongs to him. And therefore he's not going to worry about swearing falsely. The Gemara says, so you know what? If that's the case, then let him take it without the swearing. Why make him swear altogether if he's trying to collect it as a loan? All right, so try to get it back as a loan first. Where it says, rather we're concerned that maybe he doesn't remember if there's a loan. Right? So if there's a for sure loan, then he can extract it. But if he's not sure if he has a loan, therefore, since he knows he can't bring that to court, I don't know if he owes me $100. Therefore, we should make him swear to stop him from doing this scam with the other guy's item. Where it says, we're not going to say if the guy's willing to grab money that may not belong to him, then he might swear falsely also. He obviously got guts. Where it says, true, the guy might try to grab money that belongs to him, but he won't swear falsely based off of that. Why? Money that he takes, if he realizes that he made a mistake, and he'll just give the money back. But if he has to swear, he won't swear because you can't go back on that. And therefore, we're not worried about him swearing falsely. Amen. Amen.